I gotta keep going. I gotta keep going. I gotta
All right, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to Closerz Academy. I'm Tanner Mendelsohn and got my boy Adam Haffner on with me tonight. It's pretty cool being able to do this with Adam. We've both been in the business about 6 months and we started together at the same time. Remember our first days were out in Austin, Texas. But Adam's been absolutely killing it. We both compete every single week and we're kind of we have very similar goals, similar mindsets, and we run our businesses very similar, and we're doing things at a very high level. And one of the biggest things about this business is finding people that are succeeding at a high level and duplicating every single thing that they do. But Adam, for anyone who like doesn't know you, kind of introduce yourself, tell them like what you've been doing and numbers wise, all that stuff.
Yeah, so I started 6 months ago. It was beginning of August is when I actually started. Me and Tanner went down to Austin, Texas, met for the first time. That was pretty cool. Um, and so I've probably averaged 30 to 40,000 a month since then on my personal pen. But what I really was motivated by was team building. I came from car sales where it wasn't a skillable industry. With this industry, it is scalable. You can build a team. And so that's what really intrigued me. So my team has been rolling, slowly building up. Hopefully next month we should do 200, 250. That's kind of the goal. So yeah.
Okay, bro. That's amazing, dude. Yeah, you're absolutely killing it. And yeah, we have similar team sizes, similar numbers. We're selling at a similar level. But one thing that we both are doing is every single thing at a very high level. So, what we're going to be talking about today is like managing, selling, recruiting, and training. So, I know like from day one, I wanted to build. But one of the biggest concerns that I had was how was I going to do everything at the exact same time? So drop a one in the chat if you guys want to build it like and scale a solid team. Okay, so it seems like everyone. Now, one of the biggest things I struggled with was my time. How do I manage everything at once? How do I sell at a high level? How do I train at a high level? How do I recruit people? And one of the biggest things is like setting a consistent schedule and like time blocking everything. And I know Adam does it very well where he manages his time and he respects it. So Adam, why don't you kind of break down what your schedule looks like managing everything at a high level so you can like still succeed in each part of the business?
Yeah, Omar, you want to mute up real quick? Sorry, brother. Yeah, so schedule is going to be really the biggest thing, like Tanner said. When you do have a team, you have to be really, really locked in on that schedule. You really have to care about the business. So I wake up, most of the time I'm waking up around that 7 o'clock time, unless I go to the gym before. So 7 o'clock on average, just kind of get ready for the day. We'll drive into the office. I'll get here around that 8 o'clock, 8:15 time, which is when all the reps are getting here. Right away, all my reps are starting to dial right away in the morning. For myself, I'm getting all my back end stuff done right away in the morning. That's the stuff that me myself, I have to keep really organized. So I want to get that shit done right away in the day. So I'm not worried about keeping shit organized. After I get that stuff done, then I'm going to be, kind of helping new reps as well as dialing myself. Dialing in front of them is going to be huge. That's going to be, kind of teaching them, what they should be saying. They literally get live training by listening to you, especially when I'm in the office here. I know Tanner, you do stuff over Zoom, but I'm sure it's pretty similar. You kind of block out that time from kind of that 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock until 6, 7, 8 for a lot of guys. Is just strictly for dialing. Now, people sometimes come in with questions. They want to write applications in the middle of the day. They have questions regarding like objections and stuff. I like to keep that stuff for the end of the day, especially like writing your policies unless you did it with them on the phone. Reason being is because that time that you have in the middle of the day is the only time that you can really dial. You can't dial past like 8 o'clock for most places, right? That's when you can get that other shit done. So you need to, really be on top of, when can I be the most profitable throughout my day? So is dialing going to be the most profitable or doing an application or like asking a bunch of questions? Asking a bunch of questions is probably not going to be profitable. Getting on the phones is. Now, I know that our schedules are probably a little bit different, Tanner. So, what does your schedule look like? Because I'm in the office here. we do everything in person. You do everything on Zoom for the most part. What does your schedule kind of look like?
Yeah, 100%. And we definitely do have similar schedules. Like you said, pretty much all your guys are in office and most of my guys are virtual. So it's a little bit different. But at the end of the day, the first thing that I always do, or the first thing that I messed up in this business was doing everything at once. So like when I first started bringing people in, I would do just random things here and there, help someone with an app, train someone, sell, help someone with an app, train someone, sell. And it just didn't make sense. I was doing everything at once. And I took a step back and I was like, how can I be more efficient with my time? And I liked how Adam touched about profitability and like setting like the most profitable activities during certain times. And when I took a step back and realized what makes the most sense is the schedule I have today. So like the first hour of the day, I'm helping new guys or training guys. And then from 9 o'clock to 6 o'clock, I'm selling and training guys. And by training, I mean they're listening to me sell or they're unmuted and I'm helping them. So if some guy jumps in my room and he says, help me with the app, well, no, that's not what we're doing right now because I respect my time. So we're selling and I'm helping you, not with applications. Then at nighttime from like 6 to 9 or however late someone needs, that's when we're going over objections with new guys, helping new guys with applications. And then that's also when I'm recruiting. So it's really important to set like time blocks of what you're doing and really stick to it. Because like you might set time blocks, but if you don't actually stick to it, you're just telling yourself that you don't respect your time. And anyone in this business, if you don't respect your time, you're gonna fail. It might as well not even like work. Because when you have a consistent schedule, you set certain things for certain hours and you really stick by it. Over time, like the consistency is everything. And that's when your business starts actually scaling. So like morning, you can train, then most of the entire day is selling and helping new guys sell. And then at night, it's helping with objections with new guys, applications, and that's when you're taking your recruiting calls. But I know one thing that both Adam and I struggled with at first was like meeting people halfway.
Mhm.
And Ronnie would always tell us that we needed to do this, but we didn't really understand what it meant. But then when we started picking it up, like that's when our business started exploding. So Adam, kind of touch on that and what that really means to you and your business.
Yeah, 100%. So what I've noticed with bringing people into the business, the people who succeed are probably going to succeed in this business no matter who they're under, most of the time, right? Because they want it so bad, they're going to find a way to succeed. So you need to learn to kind of meet people halfway. If someone is requiring you to kind of hold their hand through every single bit of the process, that's kind of like a red flag. You need to kind of just sit them down and tell them like, hey, listen, there is stuff that you're going to have to kind of figure out yourself and learn yourself. I can help you, but I also have 20 other reps here that need my help or 10 other reps, right? So there is a lot of things where someone needs to, figure out, how to do something themselves or like with really small questions, right? Like, just kind of like figure out yourself. Like you need to be resourceful and kind of, you don't need to come to me with everything. Now, in the beginning, it's kind of hard to tell your reps that because you care about them. You really want to see them succeed. You want to hold their hand. Dude, you're literally building them more by having them do it themselves. Because if you hold their hand through every single part of that process, they're never going to be able to build their own team. They're never going to be able to do that stuff themselves. So sometimes you kind of got to watch them fail and then pick them back up, right? So that's what being a leader is, right? Put them in that position where they do fail and learn from it, and then pick them back up. So that's how I view that, right? Like that's how I do it in my opinion is kind of meeting them halfway and they need to kind of figure it out themselves a lot of times. And they're going to learn from that.
No, I think
So
that's massive. And everything that you just said, like I 100% agree with it. And one thing to touch on is like when you bring someone in the business, you want so much out of it for them. Like you want them to start selling 10K a week, making 10, 20, 30,000 a month, right? But at the end of the day, like what if that's not what they want? What if they don't want to put those hours in? You can't want more for someone than they want for themselves. And it took me some time to kind of realize that. But it's really important to do that because if someone's working like 8 hours a day and you keep pushing them to work 10, 12, 13 hours a day, they're going to not like you. So it's important to
What you
understand.
mean it's the last day?
the guys on your teams their goals and then tailoring what you kind of give them towards that. And if someone's not showing up and they say that they're going to show up, you shouldn't help them at all. Like it might sound like crazy, but like if you respect your time and someone's telling you they're going to show up these days, these hours, and they don't show up, they don't respect you. So why should you show up for them? We're running a business at the end of the day. It's important to respect your time. But meeting people halfway is what really changed it for us and what really allowed us to scale, honestly. But now to kind of touch on like recruiting wise, like everyone's like, okay, I want to build. How do I build? How do I actually get people? Drop a one in the chat if you're struggling to recruit people. Sure, there's some people out there, right? We don't all have 10, 20, 50, 100 people teams. So, Adam, I know one of the biggest things for you is you get a lot of people in the office, you have a lot of warm market. And
Mhm.
some people, like a lot of people, I know a couple guys on my team too, they have big warm markets, but they don't know how to tap into them. So, what's been the biggest thing for you to actually get people converted and in office with you?
Yeah, 100%. So first one's always going to be social media, whether it's warm market or cold market, it's always social media, right? Like I can almost guarantee you your entire following right now, even if you don't post, is literally your warm market. Like if you have 1,000 people, if you have 500 people that follow you, you cannot tell me that there's not one person out of 500 people that would benefit from this opportunity, right? But they just don't know about it. You literally have not posted to show them that it is an opportunity available to them. So what I've been doing a lot is I do a lot of story posts, right? And it might not even be about the business. A lot of times it's about lifestyle stuff, right? And then you kind of sneak in little business things here and there, being really transparent about like how we get paid on my stories has been huge. Like I've had people, like when I actually explain it, like sometimes I'll go on the whiteboard and say, hey, like this is how someone gets paid. I didn't just make $1,000 in 20 minutes, right? I called all day. It was a 20-minute call. This is how I got the $1,000. People like that transparency. So, a lot of the war market, they're like kind of interested, but they're like, oh, it's probably too good to be true. There's no way this kid in my hometown is making $1,000 a day because they don't understand it, bro. They don't understand that you're making $1,000 a day when you actually are. You need to just explain it a little bit further for them. So I do see a lot of people posting on the stories. I made $1,000 in 20 minutes. Explain it a little bit further, bro. Take another 20 seconds, explain it. That's how I captured my war market because they don't understand how I made that money. And they're like, oh, damn. So, like, that actually makes sense. It's not too good to be true, right? Because
Mhm.
this is actually like how they get paid. So one is social media, and then second thing is it's gonna be mindset, right? Like if I have someone I see at the gym, right, or like out and about, right, and I know them, like I'm not gonna be afraid to try to bring up the opportunity, hit them with a 90-second pitch, or bring it up, because dude, like that person could make you another thousand, 2,000, $3,000 a month, bro. Like you could literally that person could make you another $30,000 a year. Like that's insane. How scalable this business is, that I don't understand how people are afraid to post or talk to people in person. Like you could make like a couple posts, get one person, that person could get you another $10,000 every single year. That could pay for your rent. That could pay for a car bill, whatever you want, right? So I think everyone should be recruiting, whether it's at a high level or a small level. But in order to do that, you need to be bringing up the opportunity to people. You need to be posting about it. That's how you're going to capture your warm market. Now, one thing I've struggled with myself and that I want to get better at is my cold market, right? So like actually getting out to people, like getting new people to follow me and reaching out for the opportunity that I don't even know. I've been able to capture people I know by just posting and being transparent about it, but not like, cold market that's kind of far out. And Tanner, you've been really good at that because that's your entire team. Like mine's warm market, yours is cold market. So
Did you
how have
never
you
fucking
been able
get it? I
to
don't get it.
capture cold market, on social
Because
media?
am I taking fucking shit with me or no?
Get that guy. Yeah, dude, 100%. And one thing before I go into, I do want to touch on like the transparency that you talked about. And I always see the stories. You'll talk when like you don't make a sale in a day and you'll tell everyone. And that's big because I see a lot of people talk about like straight up bullshit numbers that they don't make. Dude, you're not gonna recruit and you're not gonna like bring people into the business if you're lying about shit. Like you need to be transparent because why are you even doing that in the first place? Transparency is everything. But cold market, how do you get people cold market? Well, it starts by putting yourself out there. And probably like half the people on this call, I was terrified about posting. I was terrified about holding that camera next to my face and start yapping. Dude, I was terrified, but I knew the benefits towards it. So if you have a really strong vision and you know what you're doing, nothing should come in the way of that. So I know what my goals are, and if my goals are to scale a team, I
We
have to put
have
myself out there.
we have
So
16
Coach
people
Taylor, you want to mute?
like on Tanner's team.
Thanks, brother.
Yeah, so it's actually like staying consistent with posting. So like I'll post on my story every single day, and then I try to post at least 3 to 5 times a week of actual posts. But one of the main things that actually helps as well is I do have an admin that I pay $200 a week that DMs 50 people every single day. I've been able to schedule a bunch of calls from that. And I would recommend anyone that's looking to build a team to hire an admin because not only does she send out 50 DMs a day for me, but she tracks my book of business. She does a lot. She calls carriers. But one of the main benefits is that I'm getting out to all these door-to-door people that have teams and I'm setting up calls from that. And if you convert a couple like a year, dude, that's going to be massive. But recently, I've been boosting posts. So I film like really good posts, videos, basically testimonials, and then I throw a few $100 into them, and I've been able to recruit about like 7 or 8 people from that. But it starts with putting yourself out there, being super, super consistent, and then not being afraid to invest into your business. Because if you're looking to scale a business, you're gonna have to spend money. And you can't be afraid to spend money, but you have to know what it's going to return. So if spending a few $100 is going to return into like hiring people, you'd spend the few $100. Think long term, not short term. It's really, really important to invest into your business. And that's what's been like the biggest thing for me. But transitioning from like, okay, now like we recruit people, how do we actually get them paid? And one thing that you're really good at is getting your guys' sales your first day.
Mhm.
And obviously, in order to get someone paid their first day, like they need to know what they're doing before they get in. So what's your training process look like to actually like get people in, but get them paid immediately?
Yeah, preparation's a big thing, right? Like when you're bringing someone onto the business, prepare them for what they're going to be coming into. Prepare them for, right away, your first recruiting call, you should be talking about how many hours they should be working, kind of what they should be expecting, the mindset that they need to have going into that, right? A big thing for me has been having people in the office. Because dude, if they're in the office, I'm right next to them. Now, if you don't have an office and let's say you're new coming into the business, having your camera on and your mic unmuted, that way someone can hear you, right? I like my reps, if they're new, they're coming in, I can hear them, so I can help them, right? So a lot of it's just that one-on-one help that we're able to give. So that's going to be the biggest thing as far as that goes. But, there needs to be systems in place when they come in. So kind of getting them their mindset right. Their first day, they're probably going to be shadowing, right? So I know you do it a little bit differently. Usually the first day, we're going to go over the script with them, right? So we're going to get them the script. We're going to have all of their links set up, figure out how they're going to have everything organized. And then I'm going to have them sit with a rep, for example, like Aiden, right? They're going to sit with Aiden and they're going to follow along with that script as he's going. So Aiden's able to pump out 3, 4 sales a day. And that's so many reps where that rep can just see how a sale goes 3, 4 times, right? So a lot of times it's like the first sale is so scary, but if they sit there with Aiden, for example, and they do 3, 4 sales and follow along the entire time, they literally like got to experience the sale. So they kind of know that process already. And then that second day, they're ready to. I know you kind of take 2 days.
Yeah.
The next day, my guys are dialing. So literally after one day of that, they're right on the phones dialing. They've been able to experience a few sales and kind of go read along as they're going. And then that first day they're dialing and they're right next to us so we can help them as they go.
Yeah.
So you
No,
do it a little bit differently. You have your systems a little bit different. So how do you do it, Tanner?
yeah. So I've messed with a few things, and what I do now like allows pretty much 80 to 90% of my guys make a sale their first day. And it's from this. It's knowing what to expect before they start. At first, I kind of just threw them in with not knowing too much, and it heavily affected their first few days. So they bare minimum need to be on Zoom for at least 2 days where they're listening to everyone and going through the script themselves. They're hearing the process. They're hearing, more importantly, how many objections we're getting hit with. Because some people think they come in and sales are just super easy. No, they got to listen to like people who sell at a high level get told no for 3, 4, 5 hours straight. And that's really important because it instills them into their head that this isn't easy. It's actually going to be hard. So the very first day when they're on Zoom, they're going to listen, go through the script. Then that night, we're going to hop on a call and they're going to read me their script. Real simple. We're going to like role play it 25, 30 minutes. Very simple. I'm going to give them a few recommendations, confidence, maybe tonality, pace. Real simple. I don't give them too much, but I just like to hear how they sound, give them a couple tips. Then that night they can kind of review, like fix what they need to fix. Second day, they're going to hop on Zoom. They're going to listen in, same exact thing. And then what we're going to do that night is I'm going to show them how to quote. I'm going to show them how to run their leads. And then we're only going to talk about objections. And I'm going to very upfront tell them, hey, tomorrow you're going to get hit with, I already have coverage about 50 times. Okay. So we need to know how to do this, because if you don't know how to do this before you start tomorrow, you're going to get really, really frustrated. Because I'm sure we can all agree that that's probably one of the hardest objections for new people. It was one of the hardest ones for me. So I'm sure it's like the same way. So I need to make sure that before someone starts, they know at least how to handle that one decently. So we're going to go through quoting, go through how to run their leads, and then go through objections and tell them up front, because you need to be transparent with every single person on your team, how many times and what's going to happen tomorrow. Because if they come in thinking that it's going to be super easy, their mind's going to get screwed up. They're going to get super frustrated, and they're probably not going to trust you. So that's kind of like how my process has been over the last, couple months. And I'll be honest, about like 75 to 80% of my guys, they do make a sale their first day from that process. And that's where I've just seen the most success. But at the end of the day, like managing, selling, recruiting, training, like it's hard. But if you're looking to build a business, like you're gonna do what it takes, and you're gonna put the hours that it takes. So like by no means is this easy to like sell at a high level, scale at a high level. But for me, dude, I just have to add more hours to my day. That's been the biggest thing for me, is simply just adding more hours to my day. Because the more people that you bring on into this business, the more responsibilities. You don't bring people into the business and then magically start making more money, or them magically start selling. Like you have to invest into your people. So that's why for me, it's simply just adding more time. But one thing I do want to touch before we kind of end this is setting standards. And I know we have very similar standards. And can you kind of touch on like why having standards are super important, and just kind of what your standards are for new guys and like for yourself?
Yeah, actually, setting standards is like one of the best things I think about building a team. As soon as you start building a team, and some of you guys might be in the process already, as soon as you start doing that, you're going to very quickly realize that you as the leader need to do like everything basically perfect, right? Like your shit needs to be on lock, because everything you do, they're going to copy. So if you're coming in late, you're leaving early, they're going to do that. You're sell one and then stop selling after that, they're going to do exactly that, right? So exactly what you want your reps to do with everything throughout their day, you need to do yourself, right? So you're required to set the standard when you're building a team, otherwise your team will fail. So as far as you, Tanner, I know that you set a really good standard. It was awesome for me to build a team because it literally took me, and it was like required me to work extra hard because I needed to set the standard for my guys. Otherwise, your team will not succeed because you are the standard. They're going to copy you. They're going to duplicate you. If you have a good team, they're going to do exactly what you're doing. And you can't expect your team to do good if you're not doing it yourself. because that's kind of hypocritical. You know, if you're telling someone to do something, you're not doing it yourself. Like really, like what are you doing? You got to do it yourself as well.
Yeah.
But you got a really good standard. I think that's why your team is doing so freaking awesome because you did come in and you worked 8 to 8 and you did all that stuff. And I kind of want to hear like your mindset on the standard because for me it was different. Like when I started building a team is when my standards started going up. But you came in, your standard was up right away.
Yeah.
So like what kind of gave you that mindset and like to keep it, with your team?
Yeah. So, I mean, at the end of the day, what we do is it's sales, it's commission sales. And we don't get paid by hour, we get paid on sales and our skill set and work ethic. So, you need to understand the more time that you put into this, the more money you're going to make. And that's what I tell every single person on my team. So, there's a reason why honestly 80% of my team 80% of my team they do work at least like 11 hours a day. It's because I set a very high standard and I can't just tell them a standard. I have to show them a standard. So if I'm going to be working 14 hours a day like I do, I can expect my team to do a few hours less than me. If you're working 8 hours a day, most of your guys are going to be working 5, 6 hours a day. If you're selling 5K a week, your guys are going to be selling 2K a week. So at the end of the day, what you do by leading from the front is setting an example of what you want your team to do. And if you have really high goals and you bring people in that are like-minded to you and they have the same vision, they're going to want to do exactly what you do. So if you're producing at a high level and you're good at what you do, when you bring people in, if they respect you, they're just going to do what you do. So standards are honestly everything about what we do. And you are a representation of what your team's going to look like. And if you want to scale a big team, you need to have results. And you need to show people step by step how to get there. So if you aren't setting a good example, just don't even build a team. Don't even waste time doing that because it's hard and you're going to be wasting your time. And at the end of the day, no one wants to waste their time. So set an example of what you want your team to look like, and then you're going to start attracting those people.
I
And
like that, bro.
that's
Your team
standards
is
in
going
a
to be
nutshell,
directly,
bro.
yeah, 100%. Your team is going to be a direct representation of you. Like if you work really hard and you give it your all, your team is going to be exactly that. And if you don't, your team is going to be exactly that. It is
Yeah,
a direct representation of you. Yeah.
1,000%, bro. But at the end of the day, just to kind of leave everyone with this, like we work in a business and Adam and I both treat this like a business, and that's why we're making a lot of money. And some people come in here thinking that it's just a magical job where you just make so much money, but it's not. So anyone that's struggling, like treat this like a business. You might just need to add more hours, get better at what you're doing, and that's when you're going to scale. And it's not an overnight thing. Like it's taken time for Adam and I to kind of refine what we do, ask tons of questions. When we don't know something, we're going to reach out for help. So if you're stuck, reach out for help. Treat it like a business, reach out for help and understand, just try to get better each day and learn from your mistakes. That's something that's really big is like, I know when like I make a mistake, I'll probably tell Adam so he doesn't do it and vice versa. And we learn from each other. So it's super important to find people to kind of lean on. But like at the end of the day, treat this like a business and it's going to pay you like a business. But Adam, kind of leave everyone with like one thing that's like kind of on your heart that you want to tell everyone.
Yeah, I mean, like when you kind of mentioned it, like don't build a team, unless you really want it. I completely agree. Although one thing I do want to leave for everybody as well, if you're coming into this business, I recommend almost everybody bring on someone that you want to succeed really bad. Because, dude, if you have one person, even one person that you want to see succeed in this business really bad, they're gonna force you to work extra hard. Like that one person will push you so far because you want them to succeed and you have to set the standard for them. And that was the biggest thing, bro. Once you have that first person, right? That first person that pushes you, it's a snowball effect. it's literally a snowball effect. The more people you get start working hard, it's all a snowball effect. So just get that one first person, and they will push you beyond you could ever imagine. Like I'm sure the same thing. Like Dante's my upline. Me coming in, I guarantee I pushed his ass, bro, and he's rolling. So
Yeah.
it's like, you know what I mean? And then I brought Aiden, and Aiden's writing hella business. And
Yeah.
I'm like, fuck, dude, like I
Yeah.
gotta keep up, you know? Like
Hmm.
that shit is real, bro. Like you need to bring someone on that is on your ass, bro.
Yeah.
And that's gonna force you to grow. So
That's
bring somebody
massive.
on that you know is a hard worker because it's gonna make you work twice as hard.
Fuck yeah. Dude, that's big.